I've always been a graffiti writer. You know, I started writing back in like '83, back in the summer of '83. I got hooked up with a lot of writers from out in New York. Phase 2, who's one of the pioneers who started off graffiti. If it wasn't for him, a lot of people don't realize that if it wasn't for that brother Phase 2, there wouldn't be graffiti out here on the West Coast. And that's just props that's never given to him, you know.
So when did the first hip-hop style graffiti start appearing out west?
Out west?
Yeah.
In the early 80s, about 81, 82. Hip-hop was rich in the Bronx, out in New York in like 82. That's when everything was like bonded together. You had graffiti, you had the breakers, and you had the rap artists, you had the DJs. And everybody ran together. Nowadays, you get rappers that don't give graffiti writers respect because they never heard of them. Back in New York, they always got their respect. Graffiti writers got respect through Breakers, Crazy Legs, Rocksteady Crew. They always got their respect, you know. But nowadays, people don't know what's going on, you know. It's a lot of people rapping, but they don't know where it came from, don't know where it started from. The graffiti out there is real tight, though. I get pictures of graffiti from New York on a weekly basis. I get pictures from around the world. I get pictures from Paris, Hawaii. If you're a graffiti writer and you're down with the hip-hop scene, somehow they get your address. We was working on getting our album done. Actually, we was just short about 4 songs of releasing our EP. And it's terrible. That day, I dropped him off at the house and never seen him again. You know, he was shot in the car over a mistaken identity type of thing. And that's the last I ever seen of him. But you know, we got to keep the spirit up. We got to go out there and finish this album, let everybody know what he was about, you know?
Yeah.
Because he was really about changing the community. He was getting fed up of what he was seeing around. He was out there in Sobrani Park in East Oakland, and I'm not too sure if everybody is up on that, but it's like people out here in San Francisco, you would compare it to like a Sunnydale or a Hunters Point, you know, where you could just drive through and it's just crazy. It's just a straight ghetto scene, you know what I'm saying? And he was getting fed up of seeing all his homies dying, you know, so he thought he'd go out there and try to make a difference through rap. A lot of his stuff may sound explicit, but it gets the point across, and he lets people know that that ain't the way to go.
Yeah. Well, when we first announced the news when he was killed on the radio here, Kyrie was in the house. You know Kyrie from Vallejo?
Yeah.
With Mac Dre and Ray Love. And he said, oh, this sounds just like the Mac, because the Mac was killed about a year and a few months ago, and he was like with his friends, with his girlfriend in the car, and there was a case of mistaken identity where these guys were looking for someone else, and I think it was in it was a black Camaro, and they saw this black Camaro, and then they walk up and shot him right there, right outside his house. So was that pretty much the same?
Almost the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically the guy that was in the back seat of the car had some funk with somebody else earlier that day, and they were really trying to get him, and ended up taking my partner. But things turn out like that sometimes. It's almost like he's seen exactly what was coming to him, because in this last drawing he drew, he had an empty gravestone, and he used to always ask us, you know, he used to always tell us that that's for the person, you know, because there's a lot more people in the park that's going to end up dying, you know what I'm saying? So he would always keep an empty gravestone there, and the character that was in this picture, in this image, it was an image of him. It was really him, an image of him, and he had 4 shots to the chest. There were bullet holes to the bulletproof vest that he drew on the character, and it's funny because that's how he died.
4 bullets?
4 bullets.
You're right.
To the chest.